So we finished one section basically of he tolerated great expenses of silver and grain, so that the temples and all the people in Egypt, I guess, should be in safety or should be in security. Okay. And then today we get started with the what we call the siege of Lycopolis. So we have some hieroglyphs at the beginning, and then we get one section with nothing, basically. So it's a bit sort of problematic section, I guess, or not even just. I don't know if it's even problematic or just missing. So the versions are not exactly the same, I guess. Okay. Anyone wants to try start with the demotic?
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Yeah, right.
All right. I can take a first step crack at it and see what happens. The first one is easy, luckily. So that is just Shemef. So he went, start of a new sentence. Shemef er. I mean, a, towards. Then comes an article, kupita ona. Let's see what the next word is. That is resit, the fortress, with some kind of ligature at the beginning that's supposed to be R and S, like the lying Z character, basically. And then I don't know what happens. That's supposed to be an Aleph, I guess. Yeah. And at the end, is that actually a T? I suppose, right? The very
I think so.
last thing. So I don't think that survives into Coptic. There's an earlier resit, so the fortress, and that's feminine, so it has to be ta resit. So Shemef et ta resit. Now, which fortress? This is a Shah. So Shekan. Just check my notes. It's Shekan. That is a combo at the end. And later in the Greek version, we'll learn that this is Lycopolis. Okay. So he went to the fortress of Shekan. Erde Wenau, which was, I'm guessing, or where something was. Okay. Now the next one. The first character is a reed leaf. And then what's after is weird, but I remember from having looked at this before, I think it was in something. Inep, is it?
Yeah, I think so.
But you have to know that. That's supposed to be a character that looks like or a sign that looks like a fish, the
Yeah,
infish.
right.
And honestly, I don't see that at all. But you do see, I mean, you can read the next one as a bee, like a leg kind of bee. So that makes sense.
Yeah, okay, so they have this kind of loopy thing apparently. Okay.
Right. Which I mean, if you look at hieratic for the fish, that would be okay. It's just how do you see that on the stone? But yeah, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
bitch. Okay. So the fortress which was fortified, the next one is easy to recognize. That is Endore. I mean Engeret. By the hand of, or in other words, by. I think. By whom? Probably a plural, so na. Na se ba, or maybe na se bach. I don't, that's the
So
se ba, yeah, or seb. Oh, that's an aleph. Okay.
I
So Seb,
think so.
and with the falling man behind it. And then
Hmm.
I'm assuming plural strokes. And there is a Coptic word which means enemy, Seb, and that's probably what that is. So it was fortified by the enemies.
You said with with
Long
ETA.
with Eta, yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay. Enemy.
That's the one.
Great. Cool.
That's our Seba. Okay, cool. Uh, bup. Next one. N.
Mhm.
I think that was catnip, like any kind of work, any kind of.
Um, Neb. Neb. Yeah.
Neb is clear, the cut, I guess. First time I see it. Okay. All right. So, which was fortified by the hand of the enemy with any or in any kind of work. Um,
Hmm.
A when now.
I think just to stop you, I think this one has a problem with this sign here.
Oh,
So it's not N, but it's and Sher, but that's how it's
oh,
interpreted anyway. Because Sher is written maybe no, not Syria. What is that under?
no, I think you're
Yeah,
right.
so it's this little
Yes.
loopy thing here anyway.
Oh, can you go back?
Uh, yeah,
Oh, that's what that is. It's just got it.
but
Cool.
it doesn't really look like it, right? I
It
mean,
doesn't,
this
not in this one. This looks
yeah,
more like N and then something weird happens.
yeah.
Um, okay, cool. Thank you.
So
So Sherkat nib. Huh. I wonder what that actually means, but I'm not going to go into the bunny rabbit. Like, why would you use
we
Sher?
can try. What is this sign? This looks like a dotted K to me, but
Let's look it up. Let's look at cut.
uh, yeah. Okay, so work this one,
Moat.
which normally would be
There it is.
weapet in the motive. Uh,
Oh, it's the
uh,
bull.
it's the
It's
ball.
the
Okay.
bull. And this is interesting because so there are a couple of animals in hieratic which get highly abbreviated, and I don't remember what the bull hieroglyph is. And maybe that's too much of a bunny ride. But if you go into like Acupal and look at how the bull looks in hieratic, it's nothing like you would expect. Um,
I want to do that. I'm interested.
right?
Acu.
Acu,
Oh,
that's the one. And then you need whatever the bull is.
how does this work? Do I?
Gardner code. Just you're correct. You would just have to put the Gardner code for bull in, which
Oh my God.
of course I don't remember because I've never learned them.
It's a
Uh,
bit of a digression, but I think it's interesting. It looks so weird to me.
it's kind of fun, you're right.
I think it's
Yeah,
E1.
E1. Thank you.
E1, yeah.
There you go.
So do I write E1? E1. Okay.
Yep. And then you just click highlight that one and hit on zwei Grapheme anzeigen at the bottom.
Uh,
That
there.
one. And then just take the bull. Yep, there you go.
Wow, this is so nice.
This is so nice. Wow, I
Yeah.
love it. But then see what happens in no time. They just take like, I guess it's the back line of the ball, and then it becomes
You mean
this,
yeah, like this?
mhm.
Hmm.
And then it becomes like the squiggle underneath. So if you didn't know, but this is completely normal. You have those exceptions, like the pretty ones there from the 18th dynasty, but normally it's just almost looking like a cobra with some kind of. Oh, I'm drawing
Hmm.
in the air while I have the camera off, so that doesn't help. But you know what I mean. So
And this is what we get in Demotic.
there you
Very
go.
similar to this.
exactly. That's why I thought it's cool to realize that this has been going on for much longer than Demotic.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Okay,
And what I
so
sometimes see, just to say one thing, is that if you look at the pictures, like from, because the pictures that they have in the DPDP are really high resolution. I don't know how they got them, but you see that it has this little extra thing at the end there, which
Mhm.
doesn't which doesn't always come from the facsimile that I use.
Yeah,
So they're not sort of perfect in a way. Hmm.
no, that's true. That's true. That's unfortunately a sad experience I've made also with like when people trace hieratic, you lose detail compared to the original. So, all right. But so yeah, under every possible work. Okay. Erwin now.
Er, so
And not
this
by now.
maybe is just,
Erwin. Erwin. Sorry. We've had when now so many times now, but it's just
maybe I should
Erwin.
actually write it as two different things then. And then when.
Okay. So this one has fooled us several times now. The S that looks like a remech. So that's the S again. Setebe. 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 It doesn't make sense. The word goes on, doesn't it?
What do you mean?
Oh, no, you have the Aleph there. Okay, I was trying to figure out what the last thing was. But that's again an Aleph. Okay.
Yeah, I
Deba.
think
Okay.
it's usually, yeah.
Okay. Do you know what it means?
I think it's weapons.
Ah, makes
There
sense.
was some kind of, there are two Coptic descendants. No, what am I doing wrong here? Set the bar. Ah, okay. Those the metathesis of whatever they call plosive is very easy to do, even like by accident.
Mhm.
No, actually, it's not ah. It's aleph. In this one, it's interpreted as dotted h, which it can also be. Okay.
Oh, Stebaich.
By
So it is an H at the end, not an Aleph. Okay,
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. It's
Okay.
not an aleph. And then there was another Coptic one which was interesting actually, Sotbef, where they have the third person singular suffix pronoun
Cool. Very cool. Okay.
somehow frozen. Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay. That's interesting. So then, which there were tools and Ashai, many, or maybe weapons. It's a fortress with enemies. So there were many weapons, I guess.
you said shy and these yeah, many weapons exactly. Yeah.
Okay. And then again, this is spelled alphabetically. So an S, a B, and a T, TD, so B. Sorry, that's so T. So Sevet, Sebeti, Sebeti Nim, I mean Nip. I know what I want the next thing to say because the last word is Genu, I
Hmm.
think. Um, but I'm confused. Is this Idem nach Genu? Or is that
So
Pi? Is that pi e? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, paisano. There's an n missing. N paisano in its inside. So there being many weapons. And what does septi mean? So I have to ask. I try to remember. Also something like tools or prepared or what is that?
yeah, it has. I think it's sopta, the Coptic verb and noun. So
Oh,
preparations, equipment, stuff like that.
Equipment, but it's a noun, right? It's not, no, of course, can't be an adjective.
No.
So basically these are coordinated. So there being many weapons and all kinds of equipment uh, in its inside. In other words, inside it, namely the fortress. Okay, I think
Yeah.
we have it.
Great.
Let me do a quick run through. So, and he went to the fortress of Lycopolis, um, which was fortified by the hand of the rebels under any kind of work, there being all sorts of many weapons and all sorts of equipment inside it.
Yeah. Okay. And then this R, right, is the kind of EUR thingy. Because my point is that this is the circumstantial converter,
Oh,
right?
the R at the beginning.
Yeah. Because when you translate it, you said there being, so you translate it very circumstantially.
Yes, I did translate it very circumstantially because it just makes sense. Honestly,
Hmm.
I must admit, I was thinking it was some kind of relative, but what you're saying makes more sense. I think you're right. That is a circumstantial. And
Let's try and just for the, I like the writing R, but let's do it EU for the
yeah,
Egyptological accuracy. Yeah.
got you. Okay.
And then one thing I find a bit strange is this, because the kind of the grammar in theory, erwenau is used for a past tense relative where the antecedent is not the subject of the relative clause. So, but in this case, it seems to me like that, so that the relative clause, maybe the subject is the fortress, that it is the fortress that was. I mean, it's a bit of a difficult situation because it's sort of, it was fortified by, and then you have like a passive. So it almost feels like, I don't know what you guys think, like in a or something like the day fortified. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in Coptic, that it becomes this third person plural kind of verb with the engeret for the passive agent thing. Um,
Mm,
yeah,
see where you're
yeah.
concerned. Hmm. Not a clear answer on that either, but I see the issue that you
No,
have. That is a bit weird. That may
because
need a follow-up.
if if the subject would be, if ersat would be the subject of the relative clause, you would expect ir
Hmm.
in this position. But yeah,
Hmm. Good point.
let's just leave it at that. Okay. Um, let's see. Is it still just the three of us? Yeah. Aaron,
Yes.
you want to read these glyphs?
Sure. Shah
Sha.
is Hemeth. Says EU, but I'm thinking it might be an R.
I don't know. You are.
Henti. Is this a W?
Looks like it.
We. I'm not sure what that means. Um, right. So Shah. I'm not sure. I know it as like a sign or order or something like that, but
Hmm.
I don't know what it's doing here.
So that is strange. If
I would
we have,
expect Shem.
yeah, exactly. So if you look up Shem, which where is it? Why am I not finding it? Here? No. Why is it not? Okay, because it's a weak verb or something. No. Oh God. Gonna have to do like this until Shemi. Yeah.
So not error tolerant. Hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
It
And
is.
it is written
Huh.
with this Sha thingy, but Why? But it always has the M in the which makes sense. But
Well,
we don't have the M.
I mean, the thing is, in Coptic, it becomes She, right? So at
Huh.
some point, you can sometimes see it spelled like you see here, with only like the double stroke at the end, which the version a little bit higher, two more up. Oops, sorry. Not
Wait,
this one. Yeah, this one. That's the one. Yep.
this
Uh,
one?
the one underneath.
This one.
And I mean, you have to ask yourself, what does that mean? Are they trying to indicate that this is all already Shem, and then they're just trying to give you like an E at the end as a vowel? Or is it like, for example, in Zoer, to drink, which later becomes we, and they put a reed leaf to indicate that, well, yeah, it used to be an R, but we all know it's an R, it's a vowel by now. Let's scroll down. I
Hmm.
thought there were more examples of this vocalic. I mean, there's some shays there, right? Shay
You mean
only.
like this?
Hmm.
This one has shed?
Shared, that's also a good indication. So I think what this all this is trying to tell you is that the M is on its way out,
Hmm. Okay.
which would
Shen.
exactly tell you what's happening in Coptic.
She. A lot of she's. Shek. Okay. That might be like a qualitative or something, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Okay, anyway. Yeah,
Hmm.
so it's we should read it as Shem then.
Okay. All right. So is I'm just taking as a particle. His
Hmm.
Majesty, I think two. So R.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that sounds correct too.
Yeah.
Oh.
Then Henty would be sort of forefront or foremost, but it looks like a place name to me.
Hmm. So he went to the sort of foremost something ooey. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
I don't know
could
what we
check if we have the name for Lycopolis, and I really don't know the answer, but I'm just wondering if that's what it is,
I mean, it must be.
right? From context, right?
You're right.
How do I do this? Hennet. I have tried it apparently. I don't know how to search this. Like
Ast
Henti.
asterisks, asterisk
Yeah.
can you find?
Can I do them for?
For
Yeah.
dots
Sorry.
for anything, you can put as many as you want.
So hen like asterisk and then maybe T like this. Yeah, that doesn't do
Yeah,
anything.
do it without the Y at the end for starters. Yep, so that worked. Giving us a lot of things we don't want though.
Probably can sort of maybe I can filter
Oh,
for
good idea.
proper
Yeah.
nouns or something. How does that
Yeah.
work?
If they had place names, that would be great.
Hmm.
No, do they?
It just gives me it just removes the descriptor here.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of
Oh.
pointless.
Future edition.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Uh,
Do we
but
have the
we imagine but there was also the fortress, right? It couldn't be the fortress. That
Hmm.
the frontmost place of Lycopolis is its fortress in a way, its most prominent point.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know.
yeah. Maybe can I just check? Maybe Seta or someone has written something.
Good idea.
He has a B there. You never know. Okay. Ditography is R Gen T. UI, and then and then it restarts. That's the lithography, that it just restarts with the same, and it ends again with UI. Yeah.
That doesn't help, does it?
Then it just try and have the. Nah, it gives me something else right away. And yeah, it doesn't work. Okay, I don't. Let's skip that. If anybody has something at a later point, just shout out. Okay.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I'm just looking at names for the Lycopolis, like, because maybe we can get it from the other end. For some reason, Lycopolis doesn't show up in the TLA. Naret gentit. But hang on. Lycopolis, where is that actually? Where is that place? There's more than one, I think.
Yeah, it's not the big one; it's a small one.
Is this the Lycopolis in the Delta?
Yeah, that's it.
It's Lycopolis in the Delta. Okay, not the one in the south.
Exactly, it's up here.
Okay, that doesn't help. I give up.
Yeah, let's leave it at that. Okay, so moving on. Do you want to try, Aurelio? I just call you out now. Do you want to try, or Aaron, if you really want to try the Greek? But I just think maybe Aurelio.
Nobody wants to see that.
Okay.
I think, well, David, why don't you do the honors for one? I mean, I could read it out, but I think there are quite a few words in there that I don't know. So I'd be just asking for your help anyways.
Let's do it. Paraginos. And then just dekai, which we've had several times, and it fits well with the is that we have in the Ptolemaic. So paraginominos, I guess, having appeared. Paraginominos, I guess it's an aorist participle, nominative singular, so it agrees with with Pharaoh. So having appeared or come ace into, I guess, Lykon or Lin, into the city of wolves, or Lycopolis. Then it resumes our city with the article that comes afterwards. The one, tan, so the one, and it agrees, right? It's ace takes an accusative, so the article agrees with that same accusative. Tan, the one in, oi, u, si, ri, te, and then implicitly nome, the nome of Busiris. So the Busirite nome. So having appeared, and sort of also having appeared into, or having come to Lycopolis, the city in the Busirite nome. And then we have a relative pronoun, ha. And then we have an imperative, was. No, what do I say? Imperative? Imperfect tense, was, which was. And then we have ka, de, la, me, na, which was taken. which had been taken. This is a perfect participle for from the verb catalambano, which was taken or occupied, and o sorry ocuromena, and sort of which had been occupied and fortified. This comes from the verb occuro, and the adjective okyros, which means strong. And we see that it's a perfect because it has a reduplicated first vowel here. The vowel is actually omicron, but it becomes omega. And then it has pros, o, li, or, oli, or, ki, an. And that means siege. So for siege, or for the sake of siege. Or sort of, or really to prevent the siege, I guess, because we're talking, from the perspective of the people inside the city, that they had occupied it and they had fortified it against siege in a way, for the sake of preventing a siege. Pros poliorkia. And then we have hoplon, hoplonte, parate, say, which with a bit of a strange written sigma here, because the scribe usually has it right like this, and then all of a sudden it's written like our Z. But yeah, maybe, but because I don't think the zeta would have been written like this, so I don't really know what's going on. Hoplon te paratese da si dapsi less, dapsi maybe less. No, that's wrong. The accent is wrong. Dapsi less te rai kai. So now we're talking about the city having been taken, occupied, and fortified. Then we have a dative here that is a dative of instrument with a sort of storage, paratese, a storage of weapons with the genitive, storage of weapon. And then the storage is dapsilesterai, which means that it is more abundant. That's a comparative adjective. The adjective is dapsiles. This is the comparative form. Just means that it is abundantly an abundant storage of weapons. And we have another dative, kai tei allei hore. And here it looks like a pi, but it's actually a gamma iota that come a bit together. Horegiai pa sei. So it's fortified with an abundant storage of weapons and all other. I don't really know how to translate horegia here. Originally, choregia come from this liturgy in classical times for the chorus of theater or for dance and stuff like that. That choregia is the name of that liturgy. That is the financing that people had to do in order to subsidize choruses. But it means now something much more generic. And I guess we had a very generic word as well in the demotic with the ka. Generally, maybe this abundance supplies, yeah, and with all other supplies. Okay. Was that clear enough?
Yep. And
Okay.
we'd still be here on the first line if you hadn't done it, so that's good.
Okay.
Question, there was one in the, what is it? Dapsi Lesterai in the last line. Stere. Is that some is that comparative or some kind of what
Hmm.
is that?
Yeah, it's a comparative. It's exactly so the psi les teros would be the sort of dictionary form or the standard nominative masculine singular, and then I think the superlative would be the psi les statos.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so. But I mean, that's more or less what it is. There might be some wrong in the details, but yeah, this is the positive form, comparative, and superlative. So they're using the comparative form here to say that it's very, yeah. Some right languages can do that, right? Use the comparative, not necessarily to compare anything, but just to say very abundant.
Understand. So it's like rather, or actually comparatively, we can do that in English. It was comparatively well equipped, so to say.
That's nice. Hmm.
Very cool.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I like that. There's a lot of perfects. Those are always challenging. Okay, let's move on then. Why can't I?
Okay.
So now we have just a brief demotic line.
Hmm. Or in other words, more random squiggles. Where were we before? We
Okay.
said they had all this stuff inside, like you just had in the Greek as well.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, the next one I would just read Arep. That's an Aleph, an R, and oh, maybe it's not a. Is that a B at the end, or is it?
Yeah.
It is a B. Okay. I don't know what it means. It could be, however, the beginning of a new verb. Let's try to figure it out. This could be
Hmm.
an F, so it could be Arepif.
Okay.
Otherwise, it would be a very long R, but that would be kind of weird. So let's go with Arepif. Mm, then there's our word um, for the fortress again, isn't it? Serat or Serit, Serat. So it has to be Taden. So he Arab, whatever it is, he Arab the fortress. Oh, that's a fun one. Enrenes, the
Nice.
aforesaid, the one that was just mentioned. Then I would say the next is probably an N. And say something that's a T, presumably at the end. Could be other things too, but Ensebit. No, is that a B? Yeah, it could be a B.
Might be
Ensebit.
a B. Hmm. Let's try that.
Ensebit. This looks like a U. Um, the next one I don't know.
Um,
Ensebit.
it's uniliteral, kind of like this.
Drawing a complete blank.
We had it here.
Oh, that's that N thing again. Well, not really
Yeah,
a unilateral then, but I know what you mean. Yeah, yeah, okay. So what?
yeah. It's not really uniliteral. Yeah.
It's a ligature that is now a stand-in for unilateral. Okay. So yeah, when? Um, Irem, I
Um,
guess.
Irem or maybe.
Pais.
Yes.
Here in Pies. The next one, I don't know, to be honest. I mean, I would read it as a Pies. Almost looks
It's
like a T
hmm.
and a weird K, but that doesn't make sense.
It's the same actually as this, I think.
Which one? Sorry, you're pointing at?
Sorry, here. You see my cursor?
Oh, like ball, like a ball?
Yeah, that's exactly. Yes.
Crap.
So,
Sorry.
no, great.
I have to edit the video again. Um, okay, so what is Arbeth now? Oh,
Arbeth.
I just looked at my notes. It does mean enclose, maybe?
Okay. So, okay, yeah, to enclose, nice.
Okay, that makes sense. So because then the next word then is wall. So he enclosed. So he enclosed the fortress, the aforesaid
Hmm.
fortress, with a wall. And now I'm having my nose in front of me again, and a moat on the
Hmm.
outside, which makes you think like Battle of Elysia, basically. So like, not only are
Alicia,
you,
is that like in Gaul or something like that?
yes,
Alicia?
the final battle of
Ah,
the Gallic
okay.
Walls, where essentially I
Wow.
think Caesar did like what, a double fortification around the enemy's fortification to basically, okay,
Oh,
not only are you
okay.
not getting out, nobody else is getting in, and we're waiting in the middle until you give up, more or less.
All right. Yeah, I think that's it, really. Um, as you said, this was walls, right? Do
Yes.
we have any sort of
Yeah.
other Egyptian phases?
I think in
Sobbet.
Coptic, soft. Mhm.
Yeah, you're right. Sobbed. Okay, great. And then we had when wall died, and then we have one. Okay, great. So no glyphs. Should we have 5 more minutes? Before I have to go? Sorry about that. But should we? Do you want now, Aurelia, to do this one? It's not so long, or is that too much to ask?
Hey, you have to eat sometime.
Yeah, okay. Otherwise, either we stop or I can do it sort of like the last one.
Please do.
Uh, yeah, okay. And there I have these G's again because actually I had to pick from a later line to make it fit with the demotic. So it's a bit, we're not sort of reading the demotic, we're reading it as it comes, but the Greek, it's not exactly as it's written on the stone. There's a bit of a back and forth. Kai and an ti ka ti sas. So that sas ending is very characteristic of an aorist participle, nominative singular masculine. And this means, I guess, besieged, and having, because now we're talking about Ptolemy and having maybe besieged the city, or masin dekai with, right? Oh no, yeah. Let's see how that works out. Having besieged the city with Homasin, which are sort of, which is earth that is thrown up, that is made. So what is that called? Are those some kind of walls? Yeah, some kind of. You said moat. Maybe that's the moat. I don't know. The guy ta the guy tafrois. I'm not sure where the accent is, so I'll skip it. And that means something buried, something digged down. Tapto. The verb tapto means to make a burial, so to dig. So I guess these are the. What is a moat? Can someone does a moat go up or down?
Down.
Down. Okay, so this would be the equivalent of when, the moat. And then komasin would be what goes up. So some kind of improvised wall of earth or dirt. Probably then the sebet. And then it continues. Kai, and te kesin, and that is walls again, but these are more like proper walls. Kai te kesin with walls. Auten presumably refers back to our city of Lycopolis. Then we have an adjective axi o logos, worthy of words, worthy of mention. That is an impressive, with impressive walls. And then we have finally our finite verb, peri e la ben, and that means to take around, so to surround, basically. Right, so having besieged maybe the city, we could try to, let's interpret it like this. Having besieged the city, he surrounded it with dirt thrown upwards and moats, and with grand walls or superb walls. He surrounded it, basically, the city with all that stuff. Yeah. The one thing that is sorry.
I was just going to say, so it sounds great. Yeah. Okay. The one thing.
Yeah. There's just one thing I wanted to sort of, which is very interesting to me, is this axiologos that comes because Auten is dependent on Perielaben. He surrounded the city, with grand walls, and it's very strange to me to see. This is called hyperbaton, when the attribute comes sort of not with its noun, it comes at a completely different place, because right, we have free word order and all that, but it's not really that free. So there are certain rules, and that can happen, that you can get this sort of separation of the attribute or the modifier with its head noun. But in this case, I find it a bit strange that it would happen around Auten, which has nothing to do with this. It is dependent on this verb. So it sort of throws me off. I would expect kaitekesin, perielaben, maybe something like tekesin, perielaben, Auten, axiologos. But I feel like this should be in here. But I don't know. That I'm not. That's why we should have Anastasia were here. She could have said something about that. But anyway, hyperbaton is the name of that phenomenon. Okay, I have to go. So, is there any question or anything before I go?
Very cool. Well, I have one at the back of my mind, but I'll have to read up on that again. I'm surprised if it is Lycopolis in the Delta. Why? I mean, the Delta is the area that's more under Greek control, right? Or under Macedonian control. So really, that's where the fortress is? Or is this a different Lycopolis? Is this further down? So that's going to be my next research task, just to see if the history actually makes sense.
All right.
And it could be. I'm just wondering. The Wikipedia article says it's in the north, but is that actually correct? Question mark, question mark?
Yeah. I mean, the one thing we have, right, is this Busirita nome, so that it has to be in that nome.
Oh, right. That would help. Yeah, right.
It's in the delta.
Huh.
But that's, yeah.
No. Okay.
Unless there are several of them.
That's pretty strong. Weird. Let me look into that.
Okay. Anyway, let's stop sharing, and then I will go. And thank you all, and see you in a week.
Thank you.
Have a great week. Bye-bye.
Yes, you too. Bye.